So when you're looking at this, again, you factor everything completely first. In the top, you can either think of this as the two factors of 100 whose sum is negative 20. Right? If you think of it that way, you get a minus 10 and a minus 10. You can also test, since the first term and the last term are perfect squares, you could test to see, is it a perfect square trinomial? It is. And so you could have written x minus 10 quantity squared as well. When we look at the denominator, again here we're looking to reverse FOIL, two factors of negative 50 whose sum is negative 5, negative 10, and a positive 5. And so if we cancel common factors, we get our solution x minus 10, again in grouping, in its own set of grouping symbols, the denominator in its own set of grouping symbols. So that would be your reduced fraction. And then the restrictions, so this should be x here. The restrictions for this variable here are only the factors that got canceled. And so when we look at the factor that was canceled, what value of x would have given you division by 0? 10. Is that restriction apparent in the simplified form? It's not. And so you include that as an additional domain restriction. Remember, the additional domain restrictions that we're including here represent holes in the graph. Any domain restrictions that are still left in your simplified form, like this, we see that x can't be negative 5. That represents a vertical asymptote. And they represent slightly different things. We're not going to list all the domain restrictions. All we're listing are the additional restrictions that are no longer apparent in the simplified form.